Hi, this is VR Tapscott. Welcome to another episode of Recycled Drivel, where not only do I take stuff I wrote a couple of years ago and talk about it, I'm also slowly converting it to video. I consider this pretty much the ultimate upcycle. All rights reserved, copyright 2025 by VR Tapscott. Okay, this is Podcast 13, Story Problem, written August 13th, 2022. So if VR gets in the car and drives to Grandma's house, how far is it and how long does it take? Seems a little vague and open-ended, I admit, but as usual, there is a point, no matter how vague. In this case, the point is time, and actually distance as well, come to think of it. Around 1800 and before, Grandma probably lived in the same house as you, or at the very least, on the same farm as you. Around 1800 and 1900, Grandma probably had her own house, but definitely lived on the farm. 1900 to 1920, Grandma lived on the farm and her kids were living to town. 1920 to 1940, Grandma lived on the farm and the kids were having kids that lived in town. 1940 to 1960, Grandma's given up and sold the farm, and she and the kids live in tiny houses in town. 1960 to 1980, Grandma lives in a small condo in town. The kids have moved to the suburbs. 1980 to 2000, Grandma lives in a retirement home in Miami, and the kids work for a conglomerate that makes organic wool from organic sheep. 2000 to 2018, Grandma comes back home to take care of the kids since Mom and Dad both work. 2018 to 2022, Grandma and Mom take care of the kids together since Mom's gotten a taste of being a real mom and refuses to go back to the salt mines. She stays home with Grandma and takes care of the kids. All right. I admit I lost track of the point. But basically, it was that as time has moved forward, we live further from each other. Grandma's house used to be a walk across the street, and now it's a flight across the country. Or, more to the point, it was that way a very short time ago. But COVID, as hateful as it was, and as abusive as the reaction was, gave us something different to consider. Maybe if we give up some of the neat stuff we've been stacking in storage units and closets so we can live a life that doesn't include entire weeks of your life per year spent going to work or coming home. Or even more, especially now that gas prices are so high and you have to work an entire day of your work week just to pay for making it to work and home. In 1800, Grandma probably lived in a one-room house. All her kids and their kids lived with her. They had one outhouse in the backyard, or maybe in the front yard. I'm certainly not advocating going back that far, but just how many air fryers do you need? Does each kid need a full 500 square feet to themselves? Do the parents need a 1,500 square foot master bedroom with a walk-in closet, a full jacuzzi, tub, and a maid service? Maybe live closer together in smaller houses where we all see each other more often than just on Facebook, and where you have to face your temper tantrums with the real people instead of making nasty comments on said Facebook or Twitter. And just imagine. Never mind, as you were. Here's a comment I made here that I added a little later. I do want to point out that this goes for either parent, suddenly realizing how much they've missed being around their own house, using their own appliances, and raising their own kids. I'm just trying to say how much stuff we have isn't the measuring rod of how much life we have. It's just the depth of stuff that we have to wade through to get to our lives.